I'm Mitch Gallagher from Sweetwater. I'm coming to you live from the Anaheim Convention Center. This is Winter NAMM 2017, and I have to tell you, I just came from a super cool event. There was a VIP event in the PRS booth where a select group of people were allowed behind the scenes to sit down with John Mayer, the guitar player, the songwriter, the artist, and Paul Reed Smith to discuss his new amplifier that they're coming out with. It is absolutely an astounding amplifier. John played a bit for us. They also talked about the concept behind us. It's designed to be an amplifier that really functions as an instrument. Tight bottom end, has a warm top end. He was playing a single coil guitar with the bright switch on, yet it wasn't cutting your head off. Really a rich sounding amp, super, super dynamic. Really a lot of fun to hear him put that amp through its paces. We were also able to check out a press conference where John and Paul introduced the amplifier, and we'll show you some of that footage here as well.
Well, I've never really plugged any other guitar into it, and so I plugged every other guitar into it, and I realized it was really well defined as the amp for the Super Eagle guitar, but hadn't really gone through the R&D stages to become a full-fledged kind of take-anywhere, catch-all amplifier, which is ultimately what I'm into. You know, we're looking for an amp that stops the hunt for amps. So many variables going all the time. What amp should I use? What guitar should I use? What cabinets? What speakers? And I'm looking to sort of stop that search. You know, do you want to get the amp you love? It starts to define your sound going forward, and that's what I was interested in doing. And so then we started working on really honing in the amp to be able to get my sound with my own music. And that got really fun, and we were able to include this new dimension of sound without losing the original sound that I had going with the Super Eagle guitar. And it made perfect sense to offer it. Once we had discovered how to get that sound, it made ultimate sense to bring that to other people. And as I mentioned before in a different conversation, you know, I'm sort of interested now in killing this idea of like the unicorn gear. The gear that only exists in your imagination. 4 people have it. I heard the last one that came up went for $7 billion. You know, they found one at the bottom of the ocean. You know, we want to sort of stop that thinking, because what I want to do is inspire guitar players not to believe that they're limited by their ability to get an amplifier. The idea that, well, there's this other amp you can't get. I'm trying to sort of bring it all into sort of accessibility for people. And that is now why we're looking at a JMod 100, which could be a JM overdrive or a John's mod. So I kind of like that portmanteau. And it's usually about this part when I hear myself babbling that I realize I'm done talking.
Do you think you could show them what that tone was for the Dead and Company?
So the magnificent thing about Jerry Garcia's playing and his music, which still lives on every day, is that where's my cable? Do you have a? Oh, there it is. Is you have to be able to have such articulate single notes that you don't need to go anywhere else. So where we are here, let me just get the right sound. Is, I'll turn down. That's one note. And most guitars won't allow you to sustain that kind of focus in terms of playing it and people going, wow, there it is, you know. But we had to develop it so that all these great lines, it has to be able to sustain that. Otherwise, if you play that on a guitar, you pick up most guitars, it just goes plum, 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 plum. And it has to have that intrinsic sort of joy sound to it. And you get that from a longer scale length, and so it's also very, very clean. Let me get a little more out of... striking the string, you get this really tight percussive thing, which you have to have for that music, you know. right, then your timing is right, and your focus is right, and it's the most satisfying experience. We've all had really satisfying experiences playing music, and really confusingly disappointing experiences playing music. There's been jam sessions you walk away from and you go, I'm nothing, I can't, and there's good nights and bad nights as a human being, but what I'm seeking to do is try to eliminate all the variables in gear that we're not really sure why they happen, but when you put the guitar down, you go, that was not a thrill. And when it's a thrill, you don't have to play that much. And that is only all I'm after now. Maybe it's because I've had such experiences where I'm really going for it. When the tone is right. Oh yeah. And the band is playing. That's all. For me, I'm looking for the tone and the feel. That's all I need to do. Huh? Does is it's compressing in the exact amount that allows you to keep a bounce going on the guitar. And it's a really great sort of rhythmic bounce if you've got distortion on. I can accompany a drummer with this amp because I can just. I promise you, most guitar amps will not be stiff enough in the power section to be able to. That's a dirtier version of it. You put a different guitar into it, you put a Strat into it, you're going to get the glassy, clean funk thing. You put a Gibson or a PA, anything with PAFs. 594, we should plug a 594 in this thing, you'd hear it. It'll respond beautifully to kind of each tone you put into it. And I'd rather let the guitars be the different voice for me personally.
So they're grabbing a 594 right off the wall, John.
Let me put the strap on it.
That's ballsy. What you don't know is on Friday mornings, all the managers go through. We open cases just like you to make sure that this is not a frightening event. We know that this guitar's right. Seriously.
Yeah. When Paul handed me the 594 in a hotel room, and I hadn't even seen it, didn't have a number. It was a prototype, and I plugged it in and I went. All I'm looking for is this. The only reason I started playing guitar is because I wanted to sit alone in a room by a window, much like a day like today, on a rainy day, and be able to just trip out. Ever since I was 12, I was like, I just want to be able to sit and do that. And I still try to find that zone. And when I got handed the 594,
right off the wall. That's good, right? Yeah, I should give John a hand for having the courage to do that.
about all the stuff you'd be able to do if you were jamming. I just don't love playing hyperactively without a band. It doesn't, you know, it's the sound of NAMM. It's the official sound of NAMM. But you know, the hyper like jamming with the band of gypsies in your mind. But that's what I'm looking for in my career and my playing now is beautiful. You want to be able to make a note, you intend to make a note, hear the note, and go, yeah. And then reinvest that joy into the next note. That's what it's about.
So, John, I have a surprise for you you don't know about.
Okay.
Okay. So, I was born in 56, so debatably the greatest year of vintage guitar is probably around 1958, but I was in diapers. I didn't get to make guitars for Hendrix. I didn't get to make guitars for the early Allman Brothers. I didn't get to make guitars for the Beatles, okay? But we're making guitars now, and our industry is built on extraordinary musicians that become legends, all right? Behind you, this is Mark Tremonti's guitar that he played on My Sacrifice. This is Carlos Santana's touring guitar. This is one of your other touring guitars. This is the guitar that Neil Schon uses in Journey every night. So they're sitting right behind you, and what's different is when you walked up, you just thought it was some of the other guitars. Yeah. They look so similar to what we normally sell, and that's one of your Dead & Company guitars, right? Yeah. This is John McLaughlin's guitar that he's been touring with. Yes, look at the look on his face now.
Well, yeah, I mean, come on. Man has taste. My goodness. Wow.
This is Jack Fowler's guitar from Sleeping with Sirens, and we've got Mark Holcomb's guitar from Periphery on the end. So these are guitars that are becoming legends in our lifetime.
Well, thank you.
And we included your guitar in that
Thank
batch.
you.
So everybody should give John a
Thank you.
Isn't that great?
Thank you.
So you're releasing a new CD as we speak today.
Yeah, I'm putting it out 4 songs at a time. I think it's time for music to catch up with the way that people consume things, the way that television and movies have, and it seems to be working. So the first wave of songs off a record called The Search for Everything came out last night today, and I'm having fun knowing it's out in the world. It's not a secret. Anybody here make records? There's tons of people here make records. Yeah, I mean there's a moment where it goes from being something that kept you company to belonging to everybody, and the moment where it passes over is thrilling and frightening and moving. And the idea now that these things that were in my head are now in other people's heads. It's amazing. The most incredible thing was I played my own record last night off of like Spotify, and I went, well, this isn't off of Dropbox anymore. It's just easier to hear my, I don't have to get it through. It's amazing. You work, then somebody emails it to somebody gets the master off, and then it's on iTunes, and you go, oh, it's everybody's now. So it's been a really fun day, and this is an awesome part of it too. I wouldn't want to be doing anything else on a release day.
So this is the press for our industry, our guitar industry, our amp industry. And we don't get an opportunity very often to do this, John. So from my heart to yours, thank you so much for coming. Everybody should give him a big hand.
I hope you enjoyed this look behind the scenes at the new PRS John Mayer amplifier. Absolutely incredible instrument. I think you're definitely going to want to check this one out. It's not an inexpensive amp, but if you want the best, something that really functions as an instrument that really adds to your playing, one that you're really going to want to listen to and give a try. Thank you for joining me here at the Anaheim Convention Center. Be sure to tune in to Sweetwater.com for our comprehensive trade show report. Visit YouTube, Facebook, all our social media for video and posts about everything that's rocking here at Winter NAMM 2017. I'm Mitch Gallagher from Sweetwater.